Welcome to Silverstone, that's the country where you're living at the moment. It's Thursday evening. Talk me through preparation for the weekend after a bit of a summer break.
Yeah, coming to Silverstone, this is kind of the beginning of the second part of the championship, and like you said, there was a summer break, and the last race was in Moscow about 4 weeks ago. And so being out of the car for this amount of time kind of is tricky for everyone involved, and so kind of on Thursday there's always the normal track walk and meetings with the engineers, but at the same time you've kind of just start to kind of go back to basics and cover everything that you have done from the beginning of the year. Even from testing, so you really start to look at the notes and the setups and such and try and come up with the best possible combination. And Silverstone is quite a tricky track in the sense that it has kind of all the aspects of the corners you would expect from a track, but at the same time the weather plays quite a variable in the weekend. And being obviously in England and in Great Britain, it's obvious that the weather is something that's quite difficult to predict. So moving forward into the weekend, it's something that we're very aware of, and that we will spend a lot of time focusing on making sure the car is good in both wet and dry conditions.
And I know you've seen the guys a couple of times whilst the break's been happening. How easy is it for the team to just gel back together? Is it simple and an easy thing to do, or does it take a little bit of time just to get back into the swing of things?
I think because we've spent so much time working together, and the team it is a family as much as that is a cliche to say. I mean, we all spend time talking to each other away from the racetrack, and we go over to each other's houses and we go karting and we do stuff outside the racetrack. So coming back together, it's a very natural thing, and I think that everyone's just kind of very excited to get back on track and to kind of start competing again, because while all the work that goes off track is very crucial and important, it's not what the fun stuff is, and it's not actually competing and driving as fast as you can and pushing the limits of not only the technical aspect but the driving aspect as well. And so kind of having that break has made us appreciate what we're all here to do and what we want to achieve. And I think coming into this weekend, the atmosphere within the team is fantastic, and can't wait to get into the car tomorrow.
And talk me through the technicalities of this circuit. I know you've mentioned weather. It plays a huge factor in it, and you're pretty good in the rain, so perhaps we're hoping for rain. But is there any part of the circuit that's particularly enjoyable, or anything that guys need to look out for whilst they're watching you race this weekend?
Well, to be honest, I don't mind wet or dry, actually, because I would love for it to actually be dry, so that we could show that as a team we've actually made quite a few steps with the car and that we are moving in the right direction. I think Moscow was very positive for us to kind of get back in the top 5 after a small, challenging set of races. And so Moscow was great to go into the summer break with the momentum, and so we really want to carry that over into this weekend. And with the dry weather being a possibility, that would be great to be able to show people that we are back on pace. But the track is very specific in the sense that the old Turn 1, which is not the new current Turn 1, but the old Turn 1 and Magus Beckett's Stowe complex is something that all drivers respect and love. And it's a series of very quick corners that is right, left, right, left. And as you go through the corners, the speed actually decreases. And in the dry, that's tricky enough. You can imagine in the wet, that just adds a whole another element. And with the wet line normally being slightly different than the dry line, you kind of have to play with it because it is a sequence of corners. If you get offline for the first part of the corner, then you're going to be offline for the second part. And in the wet, with it being so crucial where you're on track, that's kind of the trickiest part, I think, when weather comes into play.
Cool. Well, wishing you all the best this weekend as always, and we'll catch up following race 2.